Welcome to Shift Happens, where we discuss all things yoga, creating transformative experiences on the mat, off the mat, and on the path of yoga, with your host, international yogini, Mimi Adeogba.
Hi, welcome to Shift Happens with your host, international yogini, Mimi, where we discuss all things yoga and experiences on the mat, off the mat, and on the path of yoga. Great morning. I'm here today with Isabelle Smith, and she is my favorite, awesomest student. She is a university student in Colorado, and I'd like to have her go ahead and introduce herself. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Isabelle.
Hi, as Mimi said, my name is Isabelle. I am 19 years old and going into my second year at Colorado College. It's a small liberal arts school just south of Denver. I have been practicing with Atlanta Hot Yoga for about, I would say, 4 or 5 years now. And I've always known that I've wanted to do yoga teacher training. And it so happened that the stars aligned for this summer, and I connected with one of the owners of the studio, Leah, to be a part of this training, and I am currently enrolled in the 28-day immersion program. So I've been studying yoga and anatomy, philosophy from Monday to Saturday for the past 4 weeks, and it's been a super amazing experience, and I'm so glad that I was able to have this opportunity.
It's been a really deep dive, very immersive for you. So what can you say about that? What was the highlight of your experience in this course?
I think I underestimated how exhausting it would be because before the first day, I kind of had this whole plan of I'd get up, I'd go to yoga at 7:30 in the morning, I'd come back at 5 in the evening, and then I'll get to hang out with my friends, and then I'll get to go to a movie and read books.
Did you get a chance to do any of
that? Not really.
No.
Not in a bad way, but it was just more, I was so mentally exhausted as well as physically exhausted. And again, not in a negative way, it's just you're absorbing so much information that I needed time to decompress at the end of the day and take the time to really ingest all that I was learning. And that was so great. I am so pleased with all that we have been studying, and being able to have you, Mimi, from India, like having that experience and learning about yoga from the source is really what has been so valuable for me, because it's more than just this westernized, capitalized kind of industry. It's a way of life, and it's a path, and being able to learn more about that has been really valuable.
Okay, so you're telling me about what your relationship is to yoga. So say more about that. Share with the audience, if you will, what is yoga to you?
Well, I used to be a ballet dancer, and that was a very intense part of my life for a really long time. And I slowly realized that I didn't want to continue on that path, and a great alternative for that was recommended by my dance teacher when I was speaking with her about, I don't know if this is for me anymore. She showed me yoga, and so I started going to the classes.
How long ago was this?
That was probably, I would say 6 years ago. So I was younger. I was like 13 or 14.
So you've been practicing yoga since 13, 14?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And in a very different way than I do now. Obviously now it's much more immersive and intense, but when I was younger it was more, they would have yoga classes at the studio, or my ballet teacher did have a background in Pilates and yoga, and so she was able to kind of introduce me to a lot of the postures, because the dancing just became really intense for me. And I think that having yoga as a balancing force was really great, because it translated into my dancing, and my dancing also helped me with yoga. And then as I stopped dancing, I kept with the yoga practice, and becoming a college student, there's a lot of stresses that are involved in that, and new shifts and changes that are going on in your life. But yoga was something that I could come back to and just find a space where I could calm my mind. So going back to your question of what is yoga, particularly during this yoga teacher training, I've realized it's more than the asana, it's more than the physical practice. It's being able to tap into this space where you gain control of the physical body, the mind, and your energy by focusing on the breath. And so it's really being able to put all the crazy stuff that goes on in the world aside once you step onto the mat and bring yourself home to yourself and just really reflect.
That's a very beautiful way of saying that. I really like that. You're coming home to yourself. And it makes it a lot more introspective, like you're doing an insight journey. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, it's really deep. Mm-hmm. 6 years already of practicing.
Yeah.
You're so young. That's amazing.
And it's great. I was exposed early on to my grandmother practices the same asana. I think it's 30 minutes total, but she's been doing it every morning since I think the early 70s. And she said, I found this tape recorder. So she has a little cassette tape, and this is the only cassette she plays on it. Is this yoga since the 70s. Wow. And the same practice. And she goes to some yoga classes.
It's like 40 years.
No, it is. And she's like, I don't need to advance because this is my practice. This is what I need to do. It gets me started for the day. And then my mom started coming here to Atlanta Hot Yoga in the early 2000s, so way before, I think in like 2004, 2005, so 13 plus years ago.
Wow.
And she practiced regularly for a while, had an injury, she tore her ACL, and so that kind of put her out for a while, but she's recently come back and now has gotten my dad involved in practicing. And so having that family support has also helped me grow and be exposed to it early on and very receptive to it. Our next mission is getting my sister on board, but we'll see if she has the patience.
What the success of that one is.
Yeah.
So I wonder, Atlanta Hot Yoga has been around since 18 years. They've been a real pillar of the community, and Leah is just amazing. And for her to attract you, your mom, your dad, I know your sister will come around soon because Leah's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking about the owner of Atlanta Hot Yoga here in Atlanta, Georgia, what is this, Midtown or Buckhead?
I would say this is kind of the area where Buckhead transitions into Midtown.
Yeah. Okay, so one last question for you. Actually, I might have more afterwards, follow-up questions, but we've been talking about what is yoga to you. So a lot of our listeners don't really fully understand what a yoga teacher training course is. So will you help enlighten our listeners and share from your perspective, what is a yoga teacher training course?
I think what helped me going into this is understanding that through the yoga teacher training course, you don't have to go in with the mindset of I'm going to be a teacher. This is going to be a paid career for me. It's more, I went into it with this mindset of I love yoga, I want to expand my practice. And if it turns into a teacher job, that's great. If it doesn't, that's fine as well. So really the teacher training course is the opportunity to tap into other aspects of yoga that your hour and a half class doesn't really have the time to delve into. So a lot of focusing on meditation, breathing practices, other asanas. I've been able to master like headstand, and I'm working on a forearm stand, and being a part of this training has allowed me to do that because in a class setting you're uncomfortable, people are watching you, you're kind of nervous, but when you're in this room of people who are also there to learn, it allows you to be more confident in yourself.
And hey guys, while Isabelle was really here to deepen her own practice, she killed it when she was teaching. She's like so confident. She's just like aced it. It was effortless. So don't let her downplay the teaching part because she's awesome. If you're ever looking for a yogini to go and take classes from when you're in Colorado, look her up.
And that's another exciting thing. I think once I did that first class, teaching is also so exciting. It's fun sharing what you've learned with other people and being able to learn about your practice in that kind of light and environment has been super awesome.
Yeah, it's been great working with you, Isabelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here and this opportunity to just learn. And I've been like a sponge this past, month, just trying to soak up everything. Good.
Thank you.
Of course.
That's Shift Happens with your international yogini, Mimi. Check you later. Namaste.
You've been listening to Shift Happens with international yogini Mimi Adeogba. To learn how to build your own yoga brand while creating transformative learning experiences for others, or to listen to past episodes, go to yoginimimi.com.